All right. So solving triangles. So we're going to use either law of sines or law of cosines to solve these along with our calculator. So we're going to make sure our calculator is in degree mode. It's in degree mode. It is. All right. So number one, it's already set up for us, so that's a good thing. Um, some people call it the butterfly method or whatever you call it. I personally, I think of it as cross multiplying. Right, so this is going to be 15 sine 28, right, times sine 28 is equal to x times sine 52. And we want to solve for x. So I want to divide both sides by sine of 52 degrees. So x is equal to 15 times sine 28 divided by sine 52. It's calculated, huh? So, and always read the instructions, right? We want to truncate. So that means cut off, don't round, at 3 decimal places. So 3 places after the decimal. All right. So this is going to be 15 sine 28 divided by sine 52. It's approximately 8.936. Okay, number 2, solving for A. Here, notice A is the angle. So something slightly different has to happen. We're still going to cross multiply as usual. So we're going to get 8 sine 82 is equal to 28 times sine of A. All right, we have to isolate sine A, right? Treat it like a variable. Divide both sides by 28. So we get sine A is equal to 8 sine 82 over 28. Now, I want to undo the sign because we want to get to the A. So in the same way that we divided both sides by 28 because we wanted to undo multiplication by division. So the way we undo trig is by using inverse trig. So sine to the little -1 as they call it. So on the left hand side, the signs are going to cancel each other out. So we're left with A, which is equal to sine inverse of 8 sine 82 over 28. And this is definitely calculator work. So sine inverse of 8 sine 82 over 28. To 3 decimal places is going to be truncated, right? 16.435. Oh, you can't see. 16.435. Okay. So this is law of cosines. Even easier, bro. So check it out. We want to solve for b. So I got to take the square root because I don't want b squared. Now I can do anything I want to this equation as long as I do it to both sides. So this is just straight calculator work, right? B is equal to the square root of all this. So the square root, 22 squared plus 28 squared minus 2 times 22 times 28 cosine 36. 16.470. Right, approximately. We truncate the answer to 3 decimal places. Okay. Number 4. Slightly harder, right? Because there's the angle is the unknown. The angle's unknown. So we're gonna have to use inverse trig for sure at some point in the problem. Inverse trig is a must. It's the only way to get to the C. So we can go about this a couple of different ways. We can simplify everything, or we can move everything and then simplify. Truly doesn't matter. So let's do it like this, right? So I want to subtract 8 squared. I want to subtract 11 squared from both sides. So we're going to get 5 squared minus 8 squared minus 11 squared equals negative 2 times 8 times 11 cosine big C. Now you could easily simplify all this, but I'm just trying to show you that you can divide by all of this, both sides. That's 11. So all these are going to cancel, cancel, cancel. So in the end, we're going to get cosine of C is equal to, look, cosine of C is equal to 5 squared minus 8 squared minus 11 squared minus divided by negative 2 times 8 times 11. And now, because of the cosine part, we want to undo the cosine by using inverse cosine. And now, this is straight calculator work, right? C is going to be equal to this thing. So, inverse cosine, controlled division, right? Brings up the fraction button in the Inspire. 5 squared minus 8 squared minus 11 squared over negative 2 times 8 times 11. We're going to get 24.619. Okay. Number 5. Find AC. Right, AC, we'll call it X. Okay, this is angle, angle, side. Right, I know an angle, I know another angle, and I know the side that's not in between them. This is angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side is law of sines. So law of sines. So the big thing here is that I need to know an angle and the side across from it. So this is going to be sine of 48 over 9. And that's going to be equal. So I know that I'm going to need x in the bottom, because that's what we're looking for. And now I need the angle across from it. So this is going to be 180 minus 85. This is 95 minus 48. 47. From when I know 3 angles, if I know 2 angles in a triangle, I can always find the third. So sine 47. Okay, and now we cross multiply and divide, right? Cross multiply, divide. So we're going to get x times sine 48 is equal to 9 sine 47. Divide both sides by sine 48. We're going to get x is equal to this. So 9 sine 47 over sine 48. Approximately 8.857. Okay. We're looking for an angle. We're looking for an angle, right? Measurement of angle R. This is going to definitely be inverse trig, right? Inverse trig, because we're looking for an angle. All right, so what did they give us? We have a side angle. So side angle, or angle side. Don't like this one. Actually, we can figure this one out, because, right, we know the angle and the side across from it. So sine 70 over 42, right? We know the angle and the side across from it. Here, the measurement of angle R, call it x. So sine of 36 over x. And again, law of sine. So here, in this particular case, this is law of sines. Now, had they given us, no, never mind. We'll leave it at that. Law of sines. So this is going to be, again, cross multiply and divide. This is 42 sine 36 is equal to x times sine 70. Isolating x, sine 70. We're going to get x is equal to 42 sine 36 over sine 70. To the calculator. 42 sine 36 over sine 70. So approximately, we'll write it up here, 26.271 degrees, right? This is degrees because it's an angle. All right, number 7. Again, we're looking for an angle. Inverse trig, for sure. We know 3 sides. Side. This is going to be law of cosines. Right? I like just go ahead and just start associating these angle or these side to angle relationships with which law you're going to use. Side, law of cosines. Okay. We want to find C. So we're looking for big C. Because we're looking for big C, the side that's across from it, right, is going to be 3. Because law of cosine says that C squared, or, it just so happens that it's C squared, like the side squared is the other 2 sides squared plus the other side squared minus 2 times both the sides times cosine of the angle across from the side that we're looking for. So when we plug in all these values, right, this is going to be little c, this is little a, this is little b. So 3 squared is equal to 4 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 4 times 5 cosine of big C, right? We don't know what big C is. That's what we're solving for. Okay. Looking back at what we did up here for number 4, right? We could either subtract everything and then do the math, or we can simplify everything first. It truly doesn't matter. So I personally like just moving everything. Like, why even attempt? Like, why even give it the opportunity to even make a mistake, right? Like, if I start simplifying things, I could make a mistake. So why even take that chance? So 3 squared, I'm going to subtract 4 squared, subtract 5 squared. So minus 4 squared, minus 5 squared. This is equal to, right, the things that are left over. Negative 2, 4, 5 cosine of C. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, 4, 5. Divide both sides, negative 2, 4, 5. Cancels, cancels, cancels. So the conclusion is that cosine C is equal to 3 squared minus 4 squared minus 5 squared divided by negative 2 times 4 times 5. And now, because we're looking for C and I want to undo cosine, we have to take the inverse cosine of each side. Inverse cosine. So big C is equal to all of this. So this is straight calculator work. This is going to be inverse cosine control division 3 squared minus 4 squared minus 5 squared all overs negative 2 times 4 times 5. Let's go. 36.869. Right, just so see if you can see it. Oh, it's blurry. You can't see it. There it is. Okay. Number 8. Okay, again, looking for an angle. Looking for an angle. These are by far the most tedious for sure. So this is going to be, notice, side, angle, side. The angle is in between the two sides, right? Side, angle, side. The angle is in between the two sides. So this is going to be law of cosines. Okay. We can call little c, right? Little c is the outside part. So this is going to be c squared is equal to 18 squared plus 24 squared minus 2 times 18 times 24 cosine of 88. Okay, since we're solving for little c and it's c squared, we can just take a square root. So c is going to be equal to all this on the right underneath the square root. So square root 18 squared plus 24 squared minus 2 times 18 times 24 cosine 88. This is going to be 29.493. Okay. We're almost done. All right, solve each triangle. Solving each triangle means you want to figure out all the sides, all the angles. That's what solving each triangle means. All the sides, all the angles. So right now, we have side, angle, side. Right, side, angle, side. side, angle, side. This is law of cosines, for sure. Now, sometimes you're going to use law of cosines or law of sines and then switch. And then depending on what information you get, sometimes it's easier. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen right now, but I do know that it is a possibility. So we can call little c, since I'm going to use law of cosines. So c squared, I'm just going to say little c is equal to the square root, right? Because it's c squared. And it doesn't matter which side is A, which side is B, truly doesn't matter. 11 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 11 times 14, put in parentheses, cosine 34, the angle between. Straight to the calculator. This is going to be square root 11 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 11 times 14 cosine 34. So C, little c, is equal to 7.852 units long, however. Okay. So that's the third side. So now we can figure out one of the angles. It doesn't matter which one. For this one, I think law of sines is the way. Now, it's going to be so sine 34 over 7.852, right? Because that's the side across from the angle. This is going to be equal to sine of, let's say, it doesn't matter, q. It's the first thing I looked at. Over little q, the side across from it, 11. Right, so put it in blue. Sine of q over 11. All right, cross multiply and divide. Solve, and then we're going to have to use inverse trig, right? Because we're looking for an angle. Inverse trig is what's going to happen. So this is going to be 11 times sine 34 is equal to, so notice this, right? 7.852. I could multiply that by sine q, but then to solve for sine q, I'd have to divide. So I'm actually not going to cross multiply right there. I'm actually going to leave that 7.852, and that's equal to sine q. See, if I were to multiply it across, I'd have to divide it back. So it's unnecessary. What is necessary is that I want to get q by itself, and I have to cross out the sign. And the only way to do that is by taking sine inverse of both sides. Sines cancel on the right. So q, the angle, is going to be equal to, using the calculator, inverse sine, control division, 11 sine 34 over 7.852. So q is going to be equal to 51.57. I guess we could do it to the whole number. We could round it maybe. We'll just do 51.571. Just keep it consistent. 3 decimal places. All right. Actually, let's do it to 52. I like 52. We'll make that call. 52 degrees. So if q is 52 degrees, to find the third angle, we just subtract it from 180. 180 minus 52, right? 128 minus 34. So 128 minus 34 is 94. So that means R is equal to 94 degrees. Right, because 94, 52, and 34 should all equal 180. Just to check myself, make sure I didn't make any mistakes. Yeah, it's right. So 2 angles, 1 side. Okay, number 10. This is going to be side, side, side. So law of cosines. Okay, let's pick an angle. Doesn't matter which one. Solve for E first. So this is going to be, so I'm solving for E first. The side across from it, treat that like the little c. So 6 squared is equal to the other 2 sides, doesn't matter which order. 10 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 10 times 15 cosine of big E. We don't know what that is. We're going to have to use inverse trig at some point. So this is going to be, I'm going to do it kind of quickly because we're just subtracting both of these, right? So this is going to be 6 squared minus 10 squared minus 15 squared. And I'm going to divide, right? Because this is equals negative 2 times 10 times 15 times cosine of E. I'm dividing both sides by this number, by these numbers. Both sides. So cosine of E is equal to all that, right? 6 squared. Could I simplify this? Yeah, I could. Am I going to? Nah. So then, inverse cosine. That's the only way to cancel this out. And then to the calculator. So cosine inverse, control division, 6 squared minus 10 squared minus 15 squared minus 2 times 10, or negative 2 times 10. If you do minus 2, you'll get an error. So negative 2 times 10 times 15. And I'm going to get that E, big E, is equal to 15.5, so 16 degrees. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing, but with F. And 10 is across from it. So 10 is going to be like my little c. So 10 squared is equal to the other 2 sides. 6 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 6 times 15 cosine of F. 10 squared minus 6 squared minus 15 squared. All I did was subtract 6 and 15 like before. And then I'm dividing by negative 2 times 6 times 15. This is equal to cosine F. You could do the math on that. Taking the inverse of both sides, F is going to equal cosine inverse of 10 squared minus 6 squared minus 15 squared, negative 2 times 6 over negative 2 times 6 times 15. We're going to get that F is equal to 26.5, so 27 degrees. All right, 27 plus 16 minus 180. Well, 180 minus those 2 is going to be 137. So D is 137. Now the picture can be misleading, but the math is what we trust. Okay. All right, 11. Angle, side, angle. Right away. Or not angle, side, angle. Side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. Right, the angle is in between two sides that are given. So this is going to be law of cosines, right? We can call x or little c. I guess you can call it little c, but just call it x for right now. So then this is going to be little c, right, squared. So I'm going to take the square root because I know the angle across from it, right? This is going to be 17 squared plus 24 squared minus 2 times 17 times 24 times cosine of 85. Straight to the calculator. 17 squared plus 24 squared minus 2 times 17 times 24 times cosine of 85. C is equal to 28. Little c, that's a distance. So little c is 28.175, truncated to 3 decimal places. Okay, now we have to solve for one of the other two angles. So let's do law of sine. I'm switching to law of sines now, right? Law of sines would be in my best interest because now I know the angle and I know the side across from it. So this is going to be sine of 85 over 28.175 equals one of the other two sides. It doesn't matter. Let's just choose 17. Right. 17 is the side. Across from it, the angle. So this is going to be sine t. Okay. I'm trying to get sine t by itself. So we're going to multiply or cross multiply one time. So 17 sine 85 over 28.175 is equal to sine t. And to get sine t, or to get t by itself, we need to cancel out sine. Only way to do that is with the inverse. The only way. So t is equal to this guy here, straight to the calculator. Let's go. Trig, inverse sine, control division, 17 sine 85 over 28.175. We're going to get that t is equal to 37 degrees. 37 degrees. Since it's 37, I can immediately find r, right? Because 37 plus 85. And then I'm going to subtract that from 180. We're going to get 58 degrees. Not bad. So it's that switching from cosine to sines in the same problem. Okay. Last problem. What is this? Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side, right? We have two angles and the side that is not in between them, right? Hence the S is outside of the two A's. Angle, angle, side. This is law of sines. Law of sines. Okay, I know one angle and the side across from it. So sine 115 over 24. And this is equal to sine 52 is the other angle. And what's across from this angle? We'll call this little c. So little c. Okay, solving for little c. This is definitely cross multiply and divide. So this is going to be, so little c sine 115 is equal to 24 times sine 52. We're isolating little c, so I have to divide both sides by sine of 115, or 115 rather. And now, straight to the calculator, c is equal to this. So little c is going to equal controlled division, 24 trig sine 52 over trig sine 115. 20.867. All right, that was little c. For little b, little b, we're going to need an angle. So we need to figure out what angle A is. So 115 plus 52. And we're going to subtract that from 180. We get 13. So A, big A, is equal to 13 degrees. Okay, using sine of 115 again over 24. We're going to set that equal, so this time we're going to do 13 and b. So sine of 13 over little b. All right, this is going to be cross multiply and divide, right? So cross multiply little b times sine of 115 is equal to 24 sine 13. Isolating little b, divide both sides by sine of 115. Little b is equal to, straight to the calculator, controlled division, 24 trig sine 13 over sine 115. Little b is equal to 5.956. So we know little c, little b, and big A. Okay,